Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, here to give my way too early 2024 NFL mock draft. This is coming about now almost 2 weeks after the end of the 2023 NFL draft. But you know us draft nerds, we can't help ourselves. We are interested in next year already. For some of our teams, it could be a very interesting year. It could be a year in which we're picking highly, and we just can't help ourselves. So I'm like, let me go ahead and release my way too early mock draft. This is going to be the only mock draft you get for like at least. I might make one before the collegiate season, maybe, but if not, I mean, until like October, November. So last mock, I promise, I know, I like making my mock drafts, but I have one more for you. So before everyone complains, because I know there are going to be people that complain, this mock draft encapsulates a draft order that is opposite of the Super Bowl odds. Okay? These are not my predictions. Don't be upset at me because you think I have your team too high or too low. I took the Super Bowl odds, I reversed them. That's the draft order. Okay? And this goes even for my own team because my own team has the 5th worst draft odds. Do I think it's going to be that bad? Well, maybe. But see, if I could do it for my own team, some of you guys can suck it up and deal, as I had to do it for your team as well. If you had them going a little bit higher or maybe even a little bit lower than you think I have them going. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at my way too early 2024 NFL mock draft. And what you're already going to notice, and this is crazy, and I don't think this is going to happen because they're a better team than this. But as of right now, the Cardinals' odds are they're the odds-on favorite to pick not only number 1, but also number 2, as they currently have the Texans draft pick. Now, again, I don't think the Texans are going to be that bad. I really cannot see it. I think DeMeco Ryans is going to hit early and really improve that defense. And Cedar Stroud's going to go in there, and they already have weapons, and John Mechie and Tank Dell and Dameon Pierce, etc., to where they're going to win at least like 5 games. I would even probably say 6 or 7. So I'd highly doubt they're going to pick this high. But as of right now, they have the 2nd worst odds. But the 1st worst odds are the Arizona Cardinals, and it is with the situation of Kyler Murray. I mean, he is going to be out until probably at least November. They're going to be starting Colt McCoy. And then you could tell, even though I like what the Cardinals did in the draft in terms of trading back from number 3, trading back up from Paris Johnson, although that wasn't reached to me, you could tell, they're laying down the tea leaves for a rebuild. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty clear. They're not going to be very good with Colt McCoy early, and they might just tell Kyler Murray to stay down because we want to take Caleb Williams and we want to move on from you. And I think it's going to be very interesting if that is the case, because Kyler Murray, he's been a bit of a malcontent. He's not been a great personality for the Arizona Cardinals, but he himself was, and I argue is, a number 1 overall talent. Now, has he been number 1 production? No. Now, he actually he's shown flashes of that. I mean, throughout most of the 2021 season, I mean, he was in the running for MVP before the Cardinals ultimately fell off. And they paid him for a reason. Yeah, they paid him, what was it, 200 and I want to say it was 220 million, maybe it was even 240 maybe. So they paid him for a reason, because he played that well. So moving off that contract is going to be a hell of a decision, and a decision that I'm still not comfortable sitting here saying that I believe 100% they're going to make. I mean, to pay him that much, and then if you trade him, I think there will be suitors. But I think it's going to be much less than what Russell Wilson had when he was traded, because Kyler Murray's trade value is less right now. And now we saw how Russell Wilson has worked out. So now teams will have even more buyer's remorse. So I think there are teams that will be interested. Of those teams, as of right now, as you can see in my mock, I have the Bucs taking Drake May, So if the Bucks didn't feel comfortable taking Drake May, because maybe they feel like he's not ready, or if they feel like another team, or if a team did trade up before they could take Drake May, I could see the Bucks potentially doing that. I could see the Titans potentially doing that. And I even mentioned this last season, during the season. I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyler Murray is a future candidate for the Tennessee Titans in the future. I could see the Commanders doing that depending on how Sam Howell performs this year and if Ron Rivera keeps his job. If the Commanders are picking this high, he will not keep his job, and they really might have to move on from Sam Howell. So I could see them doing that. I also have the Raiders picking a quarterback in this draft, and Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. I could see them doing that. They're a little less likely, though, because they did pay Garoppolo. So it's like, holy hell. You're going to have Garoppolo and Kyler Murray on the books? That's a little, crazy, but you can do that if you want to. I can see the Vikings doing that, as Kirk Cousins is going to be a free agent. They can just literally let him go and then just trade him, Kyler Murray. They feel comfortable, paying Kirk, $40 million. So maybe they feel comfortable paying Kyler $45. And it just depends, because I think Kyler Murray, let me look at his contract again and see when his out is. I know it's not still for a couple more years. So yeah, and it was a 5-year, $230.5 million contract. I mean, you want to talk about mailing it in after you get your contract, man. Lord have mercy. You just yelling at, Cliff Kingsbury, calm the F down, calm the F down. Well, it's hard when you give this sort of contract. So his out is not even until 2028. Oh my God. Now his dead cap isn't that bad after 2024. His dead caps go to $33 million to $20 million and then to 7.2. So you could cut him after a year. It's a $33 million cap hit. And you could even, I think you could do some finagling to make it just be like really one expensive year. But I do think he's going to have a market. So if they feel that Kyler Murray is damaged goods and they want to move on from him, I think that's what they do. Or they would maybe, and it'd be really hard to sell your fan base on this, they could stay, or they could, be at number one, stick with Kyler, and then get a king's ransom for Caleb Williams, and then continue to build around Kyler. And in order to do that, one, Kyler has to, when he comes back, there could be no more behavioral problems, and he has to play well. And I'm assuming that if he plays well, you guys won't have the number one pick. Like, if he plays decently well, you guys should still win at least 3 games with him and 2 games without, and then you won't have the number one pick, so this won't be a conversation anyway. So this is going to be interesting, and I want to make a video about, potential Caleb Williams suitors. But as you look at the mock order again, I mean, the Texans are going to be involved. You guys have their pick, so it doesn't even matter. The Colts know the Anthony Richardson experiment. I think the Bucks are on the table. I know the Titans took Will Levis. I don't care. I think the Titans on the table. I really don't think the Commanders are going to be this bad. I just don't. I don't know why, Vegas hates them so much. I mean, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, and they're in a tough division, so I guess I understand that. But I can't see the Commanders losing more than 11 games. They're going to be at least 6-11. I have them down for probably 8-9, to be honest, at least. I think Sam Howell can play. I don't know how great he is, but they've been building talent. The Falcons, to me, are on the table with Desmond Ridder. If he just does not perform well this year, they should still be able to run the ball and win games, but if it just doesn't work out, they're on the table. If Justin Fields flames out, they're on the table. They have 2 first-round picks on the table. If Stafford shows signs of regression, if he ends up retiring, they're on the table. If Mac Jones shows regression and the Patriots regress, they're on the table. So it's going to be interesting, but Caleb Williams, for sure, he's going to go number one. I don't know if Drake May can do enough to end up being the number one quarterback in this class. I mean, Caleb, he was just so masterful. But with that said, I did see with famous Jameis Winston, after his brilliant redshirt freshman year in which he won the Heisman. And I said after that freshman year, oh, this is the best prospect I've seen since Andrew Luck, which wasn't that long. It was only 3 years before. And then the next year, he stunk. And he still went number one overall. But we should have listened to that stinking. Whenever he threw all the interceptions his sophomore year, we let it slide, and it was a mistake. So if Caleb Williams shows signs of aggression, I'm going to pay attention to that because I made that mistake before. Marvin Harrison Jr. goes number 2 to the Cardinals here. So they get their 1-2 punchy with Williams and Harrison. And, you know, Harrison is looking like a legitimate top 5 prospect. I know some people don't love the idea of taking wide receivers this high. Well, it worked out with Julio. It worked out with AJ Green. It's worked out with Jamar Chase. Sometimes it doesn't work out with like a Mike Williams or Roy Williams, but usually it works out. Well, also with the Sammy Watkins, it didn't quite work out. Kevin White wasn't top 5, but he was close. But for the most part, it works out. And Marvin Harrison, this guy's legit. You know, Larry Fitzgerald, it worked out. Some of those guys were like real, they were risked in terms of they're just athletic guys. You didn't really know. But, you know, with a Kevin White especially, with the Sammy Watkins a little bit. Clemson was pretty legit. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is legit. And if he performs again under the new quarterback at Ohio State, he's certainly legit. It will be no question. There might be a little question in how much was Stroud, how much was him. If he performs again this year, he'll go this way. After that, it's a little tough. Okay, so right now I have Jared Verse being the best defensive player. It could easily be him. It could easily be Dallas Turner, but Turner needs a breakout year. He hasn't broken out yet at Alabama, but he's expected to this year. He really needs a breakout year for him to be first. Kool-Aid McKinstry, how about this? 15 passes defended last year for Alabama in one season. Oh my God. And look, some people may not like the Titans taking a quarterback this high for my Titans fans of this channel, but Christian Fulton, who's currently our #1 corner, scheduled to be a free agent, hasn't been able to stay healthy. The Titans could very much so be in need for a #1 corner next year. Hell, maybe a #2 if Roger McCreary doesn't end up actually solidifying himself. So cornerback is definitely in need next year until they extend Fulton and McCreary solidifies himself, or maybe even Caleb Farley. But we'll see about that. Joe Alt and Olu Fashanu. Now, these are 2 legit tackles. These are 2 tackles that I think are going to be great tackles to the next level. I want to see a little bit more consistency from Fashanu, but I'm pretty sure about Alt. Fashanu is, you know, the much more athletic prospect, but they're 2 both legit. They ended up falling a little bit here just because the teams before didn't necessarily need a tackle. You know, the Cardinals just took one. The Colts still feel good about their left tackle. The Bucs could use one, but they could use a quarterback more if they're picking this high. Titans could, depending how Andre Dillard plays this year, but I don't think he's going to play that poorly. So we'll see, but that's what I had happening. How about Brock Bowers being the new tight end to go to the Patriots there at number 10? He would be their new Gronk. And yeah, the other notable picks in this mock, I said Quinn Ewers to the Vikings. I think they're going to move on and find their next quarterback. I just can't see Kirk Cousins coming back. I don't know where the hell he's going to go. If you had to ask me based on what I have in this mock, I'd imagine a world where he ends up with, let's say, if Jordan Love really struggles, I could see him jumping ship to the Packers for a year or 2 as they just want to, you know, compete a little bit, because they're going to end up picking probably a little bit too high to select their next quarterback, but we'll see on that. I could also see Kirk ending up with the Broncos if they moved on from Russell Wilson for a year or 2, ending up with, let's see, potentially the Dolphins if they moved off of Tua and he failed there. The Rams if Stafford doesn't, you know, come back and stay healthy. The Steelers if they decide to move on from Kenny Pickett. So there's going to be some choices. Oh, God, hopefully not the Titans. Oh, please, Jesus Christ, if we sign Kirk Cousins. Oh, my goodness gracious. I'd lose it. I would absolutely lose it. I could see the Bucs, too, if they just don't want to move on and draft their next rookie quarterback. So there you go, my first and way too early 2024 NFL mock. Again, it is way too early, but it's just fun and something out there to send. So I'm going to be back in about 8 minutes and discussing the Tennessee Titans. A rumor that Tannehill will be the week 1 starter. Duh, we knew this. So I'll be back in 8 minutes for that. But until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.